So you are a Stihl brand guy. You like Stihl products and you're in the market for a top handle chainsaw. But you can't decide whether you want to buy the 193T or the 201TM. This is exactly the situation I was in a day ago. I was having such a hard time deciding whether I wanted to go with the 193T, which I obviously did, or whether I wanted to pony up an extra $320 and buy the 201TM. I decided to go with the 193T. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you some of the reasons why I decided to go with the 193T and some of the things I like about it. I ran it through its first tank today and I'm really impressed with the saw. I'm really happy with my purchase so far. So before I get into this video too much further, for those of you that aren't really around chainsaws that much, I want to talk a little bit about top handle chainsaws and why they're so much more dangerous than your traditional chainsaws. So top handle chainsaws are really designed for professional tree workers. They're really designed for arborists, people that are up in trees, up in bucket trucks. And they're top handle chainsaws because you literally grab them on the top, right above the power head, as opposed to your traditional chainsaw, you have the handle in the back here. Having the handle in the back allows you to have much more control over the saw. The danger with having the handle over the top right here is if you get this bar into the kickback zone, you have much less control of this saw, so you have a much greater chance of this bar flinging back and cutting you in the face and tearing you up. So these saws are much more dangerous than your traditional chainsaws. So just understand that if you plan to buy one of these saws. I don't claim to be a professional, but I work for the town on the tree crew and we're always using these top handle chainsaws. I've taken professional chainsaw safety courses, professional hands-on felling courses. So I've been around chainsaws a while and I understand the dangers. So I just want to stress the importance of that. These are much more dangerous. But there's a lot of benefits to these saws. First off, you have the lanyard hook in the back. They're lightweight, they're pretty powerful, and they're not really designed, they don't specify that they're good for, groundwork and stuff like that, but if you want a lightweight saw just to do some trimming around the yard, something like this in the hands of somebody that knows what they're doing, these are really great saws. Alright, enough yabbering on about safety and crap like that. I'm sure I'm going to get some YouTube critic out there busting my balls. Anyway, let's get into it. So, first off, the information that I'm going to be telling you about in this video, I got some of this from Stihl's website. The numbers specifically I got from Stihl's website. But as for when I start talking about the craftsmanship and what these saws are made out of, most of that I got from a YouTuber, which a lot of you guys probably watch. His name's Human. He's one of the YouTubers I really look up to. He's a tree professional, really great guy. I recommend you check out his channel. So if some of the information is slightly incorrect, just want to throw that out there now, but I think I have everything pretty much point on. So yeah, first off, let's talk about price. So one of the major differences between the 193T and the 201TM is price. The 193, to buy in northern New Jersey, the year is 2020, this cost me $369. The price I got quoted for the 201TM is $689. So you're talking about a $320 difference between the 193 versus the 201. Is it worth it? Well, let's take a look at some of the specifications first. So the horsepower of the 193 comes in at 1.74 horse, and the weight of this saw is 7.28 pounds. So that gives us a power to weight ratio of 0.239. Now, as for the 201, it has more horsepower. Horsepower is 2.41 horse, and it's also slightly heavier, coming in at 8.16 pounds, giving us a power to weight ratio of 2.95. So slightly better power to weight ratio. Talking about the construction of the saw, there's a couple things to note upon. With the 193, you have these plastic teeth in here. I don't know if you'd really call them dogs, but there are holes in here, and you can actually purchase a Stihl dog kit to bolt onto this saw, which that's definitely going to be one of the first things that I'm going to do to this saw. So that's one thing. Also, with the 193, it's a plastic case. It's not magnesium. So the 201, I believe, has a magnesium case, and it's built a bit heavier duty. It's built to take a bit more abuse. But that's not to say that the 193 isn't a really good quality saw. Something else that I also noted upon in the YouTuber Humans video when he reviewed the 201 was when he took it apart, I believe he said that the pump for the bar oil for the 201, the gears for that are steel gears. As where with the 193T, I believe they are plastic gears. So, the 201 is more, I really hate to say this, but the design of the 201, it seems to be built a bit better and built to last a bit longer. I think that's probably the better choice for the tree care professional that's taking this saw out every day. I'm around trees a lot, but this is going to be around the house saw. This is going to be for going up in trees, taking out some branches, doing some trimming around the yard. So that $320 difference, I really couldn't justify spending that much more for, you're just getting a little bit better quality saw. Also, a big reason I decided to go with the 193T is because this saw still has a traditional carburetor in there with the high, low, and idle adjustment screws. So if you need to work on this saw, this is something that I could do in the shop right here. I don't have to have any special computers. I don't have to take it to the dealer. Now, Stihl, they're coming out with these IntelliCarbs, which they've been around for a little while now, and I've done a lot of reading, and a lot of people just hate the IntelliCarbs. If you go on Stihl's website, you look at the reviews of the 201TM versus the 193T, the reviews on the 193T are like 4.5, as where the 201, I think it's only like 2 or 3 stars. And I think one of the main reasons people are reviewing this saw so negatively is because of the IntelliCarb. So a little bit about the IntelliCarb. I'm not an expert. I really don't know much about it other than I don't really like it that much. The IntelliCarb is basically a smart computer, a smart carburetor that automatically adjusts the carburetor for different conditions. I can't give you exact details, but it just, I don't know if it senses the pressure, it senses the temperature, and it just automatically adjusts the carburetor to what it believes to operate the saw, the most efficiently. Which, if something goes wrong with your saw, if you're having problems with your carburetor, you have to take it to a dealer. They have to plug it in to their little diagnostic port. That'll give them some information. So I just hate the idea of having to bring it to a dealer in order to get it serviced. And just the more electronics you have in something, the more chances things are going to go wrong. I like the simplicity and the ability to work on a carburetor, just here in the shop with my own tools. Also, something else Human noted upon with the 201, the 201 seems to be designed more that it can be serviced in the field, which is kind of ironic, not necessarily the carburetor, but something that resonates in my memory with the 201 in Humans video is that if you need to replace the head in the fuel, if you need to replace the head of the engine in the field, it looks extremely simple to do so. I think he said, you just take off the cover and you take off a couple bolts and you could replace the head of the engine in the field pretty quickly and get yourself back up and running. Which that's not to say you can't replace the parts in this 193. Absolutely you can, If the gears for my bar pump go out over time, all I got to do is replace it. It's not like they don't make the parts. And if I ever need to replace the head, I can still absolutely do that. It's just I'm going to have to take off more components to get to it. So I just couldn't justify spending an additional $320 for something I felt like wasn't really going to give me that much more, which it really doesn't give you that much more. It gives you a little bit more horsepower, but it just doesn't make sense. And I hate the idea of the IntelliCarb. I'm not a fan of that. So after I bought this saw earlier today, I was so excited to get out there and start using this saw that I ran it through its first tank of fuel, and it's one of the reasons why I decided to make a video about this saw at 9:30 at night is just this saw operated flawlessly. It really cut like butter. Granted, of course, it has a brand new chain on it and it's extremely sharp, but I really have nothing but good things to say about this saw. It's done everything I've asked for and more. The one thing I dislike slightly about this saw is it takes a few seconds, like a second or two, for it to, you know, come up to full RPM. But I have not done any modifications to this saw. And having a regular carburetor and not, you know, the M-tronic carburetor, the IntelliCarb, I don't know how the mods will do with, you know, the 201 TM because of that IntelliCarb. But with this 193T, there's a couple YouTubers out there that have done the exhaust mod and advanced the timing on these saws. And I watched one video of this guy that did both of those modifications, and his 193, oh man, it woke up. It really grew some balls after he did those modifications. So that's something I definitely like to do down the road. Not sure that I want to do it right away, but definitely down the road, I'm thinking those two modifications are something that I want to do. Just a couple closing thoughts here. In doing all this research, I remember this one gentleman who was in the same predicament asked this question on an online forum. You know, I'm having trouble deciding between the 193T and the 201 TM. I remember another gentleman responded to him and he said, you know, if I was a young buck and I wanted a saw that I was going to have for the rest of my life, I'd buy the 201 because quality, you know, it has the magnesium case and the metal gears, and it just seems like it'll last longer. Which typically I'm that type of guy. You know, I'm young and I believe in investing in high quality tools that are going to last a long time, because I want to have all my tools for the remainder of my life and hopefully pass them down if I have kids, hopefully one day. But I just couldn't justify spending $320 extra on this saw. You know, if things wear down on this saw, if I use it that much where things are going to wear down on this saw, they have replacement parts. And again, you know, it has a regular carburetor, so this is all stuff I can do in the garage right here. As with the 201 and the IntelliCarb, really the dealer has you by the balls if you start having carburetor problems. So with that, I'm going to conclude this video. Hopefully I don't get my balls busted too much, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of guys with a lot of opinions out there, and I welcome them. Share your opinions in the comment section below. You know, these are just my opinions and my thoughts and feelings, and I'm really happy with my purchase and decision as of right now. I can't wait to take the camera out there. I'll definitely be doing a lot of cutting with this saw, and you guys will get to see this saw in action. Just one other thing that I want to note. When you do decide what chainsaw you want to purchase and you go into the Stihl store, just make sure you have like an extra $100 or something like that, because there's a lot of nice things in there. You know, you're obviously going to want to buy some files, and while you're in there, might as well buy some bar oil. I thought it was going to be a lot more expensive for the bar oil. It was actually only 19 bucks for this winter blend, which in the dead of winter right now. And also I decided to get some Stihl Ultra, or well, this is Ultra Synthetic oil for mixing with my gas, just because, I don't know, if you spend that kind of money, it's like, what's another $25 on buying the proper mixing oil, which that's a whole nother video. Everybody has their own opinions. I just feel better about using their specifically engineered synthetic oil with this saw. And just one other small thought before closing out this video. If you don't plan to use this saw a lot, think about getting some tool fuel, which tool fuel is ethanol-free gas. Ethanol is a corn-based additive that goes into gasoline, and it's known to cause damage to carburetors, so that's just something out there if you're completely green. But if you're completely green, you really shouldn't be buying a top handle chainsaw anyway. So that's it for tonight's video. Thanks for watching.